Hi, everyone. I wanted to kind of take a moment to just tap in because I feel like someone needs a little message. And so here we go. First two cards that came out, we have frustration and we have space, honey. You are too close to what is bothering you. And the fact is, you're letting it take up too much real estate in your mind right now. You're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and honey, that never worked. Now, the fact of the matter is, as we look at this space, okay, we are so busy fixated on what can go wrong that we have not figured out how to make the things go right. And so we are here living in this anxiety with our nerves just constantly on edge. And this could probably look like what your brain is looking at like right now, where things are just all jumbled up and crazy and overstimulated. But what we need is the red energy here. We need grounding. We need to go sit down. We need to have a moment with it because the reality is hyper fixating on whatever the problem is ain't gonna get it fixed, baby. Okay? Now, as we kind of are thinking about this space, what are we filling our day with? Because it feels like really we're on some BS right now, okay? We are so busy worried about what's going to happen, what the outcome's going to be, how things are going to work out, that we are not really putting any energy into what we need to get done. And so, Starseed, baby, what lights you up? Because you sure as hell ain't been doing it. You haven't been doing the things that light you up. You haven't been doing the things that bring you joy. You haven't even been fully embodied. You've been so busy taking space and being in outer space that you don't even know you're up from down at this point. And so, Spirit is asking to answer the call. Okay? What is your soul calling you to do? Because you're so busy focused on all these earthly matters that you forgot what the assignment was, okay? And the assignment was not to try to get a new job. The assignment was not to try to work for Bob. Because someone said this to me today. They said if I put some more discipline in skills I had to offer, then I wouldn't have no problem making no money right now. Baby, when are you going to put the discipline in? Because you haven't been doing it. And you haven't been doing anything joyful either. You just been worrying. So when are we going to stop worrying and start working on the stuff that actually matters to us? Because this ain't it. This is not the passion projects. This is some other old bullcrap that you've thought you needed to do in order to make things work. That is not it. That's not the thing. And so at the very least, you could stay focused on your joy, yet and still we're sitting here floating around wondering what we're supposed to be doing when we already got the call. We already understand the passion. We already know what the purpose is. And at the very least, we could prioritize our joy, but we ain't doing that either. We're so busy hoping and wishing for the thing that we don't see that we can make heaven on earth. And so Spirit said it's time for deep replenishment. We need to retreat. We need to rest. We need to take some space, okay? Because the fact of the matter is you've been so up close and personal with your problems that you haven't allowed yourself to even get to a point where you can relax and find solutions. So you sitting here trying to put a band-aid on stuff, that is not fixing anything. And so we need to just take a break, retreat, and get ourselves some new perspectives, because honestly, being so close to this thing is not helping you. Okay? Now, honey, honey. Okay? We're not using our hunger, okay? We're not working in our passion. Okay? And so now instead, we're sitting here in isolation and second guessing ourselves when we used to be confident. Okay? This person is chilling. This person is in this energy. They're like, all right, well, I may not have every answer today, but I'm going to enjoy life right now. I'm going to go outside, put a smile on my face, and do the things I love. And maybe I can't do the biggest dream right this moment, but I know that God has it for me. And instead, you out here worrying. You out here worrying. You out here confused. You out here focused on your pain. And spirit is like, where is the sweetness, honey? Where is it? Because you haven't experienced it in so long, because all you've been doing is looking at the tough parts. But this violet energy comes from the crown chakra. It's integrated. It knows. And this is not a conversation of spiritual bypassing. How many times have I said this to y'all? It's not. But the fact of the matter is that violet energy, it's leading you. Because it's that little voice saying, this sucks right now, but I have better for you. And more than likely, the sucks right now, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it is because you weren't ready to act on the call. Why am I stuck at this job? Why am I tired of working here? Why am I not getting this? Where are the opportunities? Blah, blah, blah. You're worried about all those things because when God gave you the signs, you weren't ready to act. And so now we're here again in the same spot, learning the same lesson with a new pair of Nike Dunks on. Why? And so my thing is, we have to recognize that if we want more, we have to be willing to do what it takes to get that. And a lot of times it's not always in forcing it. We can't force it. So even if we see it, we take action when we feel it is necessary. We take action when we are guided, and we sit down when we're not. And so Spirit's like, you're trying to force something over here that I didn't even tell you to do. You're not doing the things that I clearly showed you need to do. And you're not even experiencing life fully while you're in this period of disconnection. And so at the very least, you could be calling in sweetness and joy in the hopes to realign yourself with what you're passionate about. But instead, you're trying to find a quick fix to the fact that you are completely disconnected from your life's purpose right now. And so instead of doing that, why don't we do less and invite in more? Because baby, we're not the version of ourselves that forces it anymore. We said we wanted more for ourselves. And so we have this tower moment here because God said, if you're not going to get out of your own way, then baby, Spirit's going to move it for you. Because you need to embody your life's purpose. You need to come back into your power. You need to dig back into your creativity. And so this tower moment is not a punishment. It's to get yourself out of your own way because you haven't figured out how to do that yet. And so this is a time for you to get out your own way, baby. This is a time for you to do better than maybe you ever have before. And so even though you may feel like, life is kicking your butt, is it kicking your butt, or is it that you are looking for the same patterns that you've experienced in the past? You're looking for the same experiences that you've already experience. But the reality is, you know better. You're not that person anymore. You don't have to carry all the burdens by yourself. You're not that person anymore. You know the tools. You know what's available to you. You know what is out there to assist you. So start acting like it. Because the reality of the situation is that every time we don't use what we've learned to progress us to the next step, to help us expand, to help us grow, we end up in the same old raggedy cycles that we came from. And while that may feel comfortable to stay in your comfort zone, is it what you asked for? Because Spirit already gave you the call. And so it is time to answer the call.